Are you looking to move to Howell, New Jersey? Well, good news for you. On today's video, we're taking a map tour of the entire town, and I'm going to show you a couple different things like the location, the commuting to work, and a few others. But before we get started, if this is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you want to be the first one to know what's going on in either Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. All right, guys, so here's going to be the rest of the video. It's going to be done on a laptop right here, and we're just going to kind of go through all different topics I want to cover. So first off is going to be the location. So we're zoomed out here. This is going to be all of Howell Township. Now, Howell Township is actually going to be the largest town in Monmouth County. It's going to come in just about 61 square miles, has a population of 54,000, and it's actually the 21st biggest in the state, so it's decent size. You can see kind of right here with Farmingdale over there. It's actually going to be a separate municipality located within Howell. So it's actually something called, we call a donut town. And it's just when one township completely surrounds another one. So a lot of people will typically, maybe not from the area, they'll call it Howell as well. Like Farmingdale is a part of Howell. It's actually completely separate. So just kind of give you a heads up on that note. The beach is going to be pretty close. So over here across on the Jersey Shore, you have Belmar, Spring Lake, Asbury, Manasquan. Depending on where you live in Howell, let's just say this is a pretty popular area over here in this Aldrich Road. That's probably going to run you about like 15-20 minutes right down Route 195. So it's actually a solid location if you're kind of a beach goer and you like that. The major roadways are going to be Route 9 and Route 195. Garden State Parkway probably just clips it right here, but just outside of it. And that's also going to be another major highway in our area. Route 9 is going to run north to south, and Route 195 is going to run east to west. Now, the Garden State Parkway is also going to run north to south. That's going to be a toll road. That's one of the two major highways in the state, whereas Route 195 and Route 9 are going to be non-toll roads. So, very big town, has a lot to cover. So let's just kind of dive into it just a little bit more. In terms of location, in Monmouth County, it's going to be in the southern part of the county. So you're somewhere Jackson, Lakewood, and Brick, Point Pleasant are right all along this kind of border of right here on the southern part of it. That's going to be Ocean County. So I would call it the most southern point in here. Manasquan technically probably owns that title right around this area here, but for the most part, Howell is going to be in the southern part of Monmouth County. This northern part, which that borders with Freehold, pretty central in terms of just location in all of New Jersey. Kind of zoom out a little bit here for you. So that's where Howell is. Jersey runs through here, kind of cuts up this way a little bit, up to the top and over there. So it's in a pretty solid location. You're able to get into New York City or Philadelphia pretty easily, which we'll cover in just a bit. So when it comes to commuting to work, you can get to New York City and Philadelphia. New York City, come over here real quick for you. Mapped it out for you. If you left at 7 a.m., this is going to be for tomorrow morning. I'm recording this later the previous night. They have it down as anywhere between about an hour and a half all the way up to 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And that's kind of going to depend, obviously, a lot on the traffic, where you live in Howell, what's going on that day. Is there a lot of weather? Is it a typical day where someone's going down to the shore? So during the summertime, we have a lot of Jersey Shore traffic. So anytime between, I would say, like Thursday and Friday afternoons, if you're coming home, that's going to be jam-packed on the Parkway. And then if you're going into the city, if you have to, got to go in on a weekend, Sunday afternoon, it's going to be absolutely brutal on there going up to New York City too. So you just have to kind of play around with the times a little bit here and there and hopefully avoid it as best you can. But obviously in the morning during rush hour, that's not really going to be possible. So I would allow for about 2 hours if you're going to commute from Howell into New York City. There are basically two main ways to do it. That's one's going to be driving yourself, which you see here, and the other one's going to be taking the bus. You have two different bus routes that you can take. The first one's going to be through NJ Transit, and they have a couple different routes that you can go through. The first one's going to be a park and ride. This one's going to be located in Aldridge, where they have a couple up and down Howell on Route 9. Those are mainly going to be, let me zoom in for you. The Aldridge one will be right around here. This is where the intersection is for Aldridge. And then if you go a little farther up north, kind of as you get a little bit closer to Freehold, they're going to be up and down this Route 9 area. And if you don't find a parking ride, you probably have a bus stop also very close if you just want to drive over to that as well. So there's plenty of different routes that you can get to up and down there. And then the other one's going to be, sorry, that's the bus, or that's the train, sorry. And then with the other bus, you have the Academy line. This also goes into New York City. This one's going to be in the Wall Street area. The other one goes into Port Authority. So literally everything you see with HT right here, that's going to be Howell. If you take the one from Aldridge, follow that down from, say, 540. They have it down for about an hour and 40 minutes, and I think NJ Trans is about the same. They have it as an hour and 22. I don't foresee that one being that much faster than the 2 hours that you possibly saw when you're driving yourself. Some parts do, they do have a little bit more an express route, and some lanes on the highway are going to be bus only, so there probably be a little less traffic that way. I would still account for about 2 hours. So I really wouldn't, if you just had to play it safe, account for 2 hours going into New York City from the Howell area. The other option you'll have is going into Philadelphia, or before going to Philadelphia, if you want to take the train, that's not really too much of an option, unfortunately. As you can see, the central of New Jersey is basically just bare, unfortunately, with between Monmouth and Middlesex County. For Monmouth, it's going to be on the eastern border. So, I mean, Howell is right here, but you would have to drive past the Garden State Parkway, park in Manasquan, and then take about a 2 hour train all the way up there. So you're talking about a 2.5 hour, maybe even closer to a 3 hour commute each way. And obviously, not many people want to pretty much do that either. So, and then if you want to get into Philadelphia, again, same situation. There is no train that's going to get you out that way. The other option you're going to go into is, like I just mentioned, Philadelphia. Have that pulled up for you as well. They have it down for about an hour. This is actually leave now. So if I did depart at, let's just say tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., they have it from between an hour and 20 to 2 hours and 10 minutes. I would actually say it's relatively pretty realistic, especially if you live close to that Route 195 border. And it's not hard to get to there pretty much by any way in Howell anyway. So for me, let's put it this way. I live in Brick Township. That's going to be in this bottom corner over here. And I live in the northern part, so it actually borders with Ramtown, which is a section of Howell Township. And for me to get to Philadelphia Airport, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. So I think it's actually a very, very accurate depiction of what it would take like to get into Philadelphia. Obviously, the same as New York City. The second you get closer to the area, to like Philadelphia or New York City, that's where you're going to hit the most amount of traffic. The other parts of the ride, believe it or not, are very smooth, especially when you're going on the highway in New Jersey. But that's, yeah, again, about an hour and 20, hour and a half, I'd say probably at the absolute most. I think that 2 hours is a little bit of an exaggeration, but again, if you're hitting a crap ton of traffic that day, that could be probably, be about the time it's going to take you to commute. As I said before, there's no train. Bus stops as well. There's also no bus that's going to really take you out that way. The only one, to my knowledge, is going to be in Jackson, and it still is going to take a couple different stops and get out there. So realistically, the only best way to commute into Philadelphia is going to be driving yourself. Next up, we're going to want to tackle the schools. So Howell has two different school districts that you're going to come across. The first one's going to be the Howell Township Public School District. And according to niche.com, that's going to be rated a B. They house roughly about 5,500 students and have a 15-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Howell is a pretty good overall township for schools, especially at the younger age in the elementaries, as we'll get to that in 1 second. And here's kind of a map of like all the ones laid out for you. When it comes to Howell Township Public School District, this is only going to count the elementary schools and the middle school. It's not going to count the high school. We'll get to that one in just a little bit. With the elementary schools, they have 10 of them, and they're going to have 2 middle schools, Howell Township North and Howell Township South. When it comes to all the elementary schools, the reason there are so many of them, obviously Howell is a big township, like we've already kind of said, but the main reason is because they break them down into K through 2s and 3 through 5s. So this first couple that are all going to be rated an A- are your pre-K and kindergarten through 2nd grade. As you get a little bit farther down, you're going to start noticing 3 through 5 here, like Newberry, Aldridge Road, and a couple others below that. So that's why there's so many of them. You have a couple K through 2s and 3 through 5s. Howell Township Memorial, they used to have 3 middle schools. They used to be one of them. I guess they converted it to an elementary school. I don't know the exact time that they did that, but just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up on that one too. So Howell Township School District, it's relatively pretty solid. And if you have young kids, it's a great place to raise a family. If you want to get into the high school here, we'll check out that one first. Jesus, a lot of Howells out there. Is it just Howell High School? How are they rated? Okay, it's not Howell Township, just Howell High School, not Howell Township High School, in case you're wondering. That's going to be rated an A-. Decent sports programs, clubs, activities, they're all rated pretty highly in here. Research and facility, this seems to be like the one negative spot, or not as good spot, I should say. But they house about 2,000 students. This is just going to be grades 9 through 12 and also have 15-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. The big difference is they're going to be part of the Freehold Regional High School District. The high school is also going to be located right, of course, it has to go right here. Kind of close to that Farmingdale area, actually, but it's going to be more like the northern part of Howell, right up here. But Howell High School is going to be part of the Freehold Regional High School District, which is a different district than obviously the Howell public schools that we just mentioned. When it comes to the Freehold Regional District, you have 6 public schools. That's going to be Freehold Township, Freehold Borough, Howell High School, Marlboro, Manalapan, and Colts Neck. The really nice thing about doing this is they have something called the, what is it called again? They basically have a special program. I'm losing my mind right now. They have a special program that basically allows you to go to each of the high schools if your child wants to. So what they do is they have to apply to in 8th grade. And if they are accepted, they can actually get busing, and they're going to take all their classes at that high school. Each one's going to represent a different category or study that they're interested in. So, for instance, Manalapan's going to have the LEPS program, which is like police and EMS. Marlboro is going to be business administration. Howell is going to be FPAC. This is going to be like dancing and fine arts. So, as long as you live in any of those 6 towns, if your child is interested in it, they can apply to this program. And it's looked very highly upon when you're applying to college. As if they get into it, highly recommend checking out if there's something they want to get into, or if your kid just thinks they have an idea of what they might want to study. This is a great way to get some exposure to that and see if that's really what they want to do, or maybe they don't like it as much as they thought, and they can actually drop out of it if they want, and they would just revert back to their old high school. But as you can see, Freehold Township's rated pretty highly across the board, third best district in Monmouth County. Kind of scroll through a little bit. That just kind of gives you an idea. All the high schools here are going to be rated an A minus, at least according to niche.com. So it's a really good area if you're looking to raise a family. If it's not Howell and you want to go maybe a little closer north to just be maybe make your commutes into New York City a little bit better, or just in general, you could have that option as well. Marlboro is going to be the most northern high school here. And kind of just scroll down a little bit. But again, they're all rated extremely good. But I use niche.com. Other people's, I think they use greatschools.com. So it really just depends on whichever one you trust more in that sense. But niche.com hasn't really proven me wrong or done me dirty in any way. So I usually just go to them. It seems to be the best one for me. So the fourth thing I want to definitely cover is going to be the different housing options available to you in Howell. And for them, there's quite a few. This is the Remy rentals. Got to switch it over. I break it down to 3 major categories. So you have your adult communities, your condos and townhomes, and then your single family homes. Howell being as big as it is, they're obviously going to have quite a bit of a little bit of everything, I should say. When it comes to the adult communities, I actually have the very first sale I ever made. My very first listing and sale is going to be one of them, and it's going to be in the villages up north. These homes on this border of Howell sometimes will go into have a freehold mailing address. So you just want to be aware of that. So sometimes you'll hit one for you real quick. See, this one's going to be freehold, it says, but it's going to be located in Howell Township. It just has that freehold mailing address. So the villages, in my opinion, is going to be the most popular one here. They're going to range anywhere between about like 200, this one says 39,000, but I'd say about 250 all the way up to 400, just depending on which kind of unit you get. And they're going to be anywhere between 1 and 2 beds. I think the biggest unit has 3, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not 100% about that anymore. And to give you an idea of what some of them look like, they're going to be attached units, and they're only going to be one level. So if you're someone looking to retire, again, 55 plus community, this might be a pretty good option for somebody. This one's all fixed up. It's very nice actually on the interior. That was a good one to choose. That was actually completely unintentional. But it gives you an idea. So a brand new fixed up unit in here is going to cost you, it looks like $340,000. And that's going to be for a 2-bed, 1.5 baths, and it's about a little over 1,000 square feet. These were built a little bit old, or a little bit older, built in 1967. But as you can see, when they're fixed up like that, they're very, very nice. The association fee here is just under $281 a month. Next up, something we'll want to check out is going to be maybe some condos and townhomes. There's a couple of different developments in here. Is it really not active right now? That's incredible. There we go. Wow, there's one active condo. Holy crap. The biggest development, in my opinion, probably one of the most desirable ones, is going to be Point O Woods. This is going to be pretty much right off of Route 9. They actually have a no pet policy, so it's not everyone really wants to live there, and at least personally me. I got 3 dogs. But these units will probably range anywhere between about like 275 all the way up to, if I had to guess, what, 400-ish somewhere. This one's 385. So anywhere in between that range is going to depend on how fixed up they are and the size difference of them. Most of them are going to be 2-bedroom units, 1.5 to 2 baths. So the biggest difference there is going to be the size and then what kind of unit it is. If it's an end unit, if it's an upper or lower, those little kind of things, and obviously just the square footage of them too. But take one look at one of them. And on this exterior shot you see here, this is how a lot of them are going to be laid out. So you see you have the staircase, you'll probably have like 4 different units going up into here. Okay, this one's relatively fixed up. And they have different amenities here too. You notice you have the clubhouse, basketball court, tennis courts. But overall, it's a very solid one, and it's really nice because it's located right next to Route 9, as we've already mentioned. Move myself here real fast. So right across, I don't know if it's directly across the street, but it's gonna be very close by, maybe a little farther north, a little farther south. But there's going to be a parking lot over here. So if you are someone that wants to take the bus, you're going to be very close and nearby to that. So this gives you an extra opportunity, or gives a little bit of a benefit to living here. These are going to be all the condos in Point Oh Woods. But actually, on this backside over here are going to be the single family models that they have in development, and they're going to go anywhere between about, I don't know, six up to $700,000. But really nice development. Highly recommend checking that out if you're looking in the area. And it's kind of that great like first time home buyer, starter home kind of situation. It's a really nice area. Last but not least, we'll check out some single families. Favorite loads. There we go. And here's an kind of idea. I'll give you one Point oh Woods what it looks like. This one's for 600. But they're decent sizes. Again, this one's relatively updated on the interior. I haven't gone 3 for 3 like that in a long time. I like these. A lot of units or homes that we're seeing nowadays, that loft above the first story. Uh, just a nice little added benefit for a lot of people. You have a game room, a library, just a rec room, whatever the case you want to make it into, but it's really nice added bonus to it. That's a pretty large master. This one has a little deck outside, fenced in yard. It's probably one of the nicer homes in the region, or in the region, in the community. And some of the menus that we already saw. There's also a couple more options. Obviously, it's, single family homes are going to make up the majority of the sales here. So any of these blue dots are going to recommend are going to be the closed sales. The green ones are going to be active. So you can see there's quite a bit of it. But it's kind of also built into different locations, right? So you have like that middle part of Howell, which is like 195, Aldridge Road, the Candlewood area, Salem Hill. Go a little farther up above Route 195, you have Freewood Acres. You got the Point Oh Woods development, a couple other ones across here, Route 33. This is going to be your Ramtown section. So it's kind of broken down a little bit. Howell is obviously as big as it is. You see a lot of green here. We got Alair State Park. You got the Manasquan Reservoir. It's also going to be over there. It's a nice spot to go fishing, hiking, running, just being anywhere outdoors over there. It's a really good area. And yeah, just plenty of single family homes. They're going to run you anywhere between, I mean, this one's 550, right? Or 590. Say mid fours and up, depending on what size you're looking for. So if you want something a little bit smaller in that ranch style, 450, but they can run you all the way up over $1 million. Try to find one for you. Show you what the difference is. Also, they are building some new construction. So if you saw my last video on Howell, I toured a new construction development over here. It was called the Views at Manor. And I'll link that in the description below, as well as you'll probably see it at the end of this video too. But of course, it's taking forever to get to that. The development I'm talking about specifically for new construction, that's going to be over here. And these are some very nice units. They're going to be made by K. Horvanian. Are they not going to show me? How nice of them. Come on. And if you ever want to, of course, not going to show me all the photos, but this is just kind of the exterior of one of them. But they're building over 50, 60, possibly up to 70 of them in that development. So they still have plenty for sale that are going to be available. And they're kind of building them in stages. Again, like I said, you check out one of my last videos, and it's really, really good. Then last but not least, I want to also check out the shopping and dining options available to you. So Route 9 is going to be the massive spot for you if you're talking about shopping. That's why I highly recommend living in this area. If you live in this Ramtown section, like in the southern part of Howell, you're actually better off going into Brick, which is very similar to Route 9. They have a Route 70 over there, and it's just like this. You're going to have every different shop under the sun for you when it comes to food stores, just apartment stores, anything along those lines. So within here, you're going to have a ShopRite. They did just take out one of the food stores over here, but you got BJ's, you have Target, Kohl's, Stop and Shop for another food store. Literally whatever you could possibly find is going to be on Route 9 here in Howell. They got Home Depot, Lowe's is down here, Hobby Lobby. And this is just on the southern side of Howell, like behind Route 195. If you go into the northern part, it's going to be pretty similar up here. Not as many, but you still, like I said, you got the Home Depot up here. You're also going to have more restaurants probably in the northern part than you would the southern part. But you have Woolies Fish Market, Starbucks, list goes on and on. And this is pretty much once you hit this Acme right in this area, this is when you're going to get to Freehold Township. So, but this is your main drag. So if you are someone that doesn't want to live too far away from everything, you want to live somewhere close to that Route 9 spot. You're going to have to be in the more northern part of Howell, or at least at the very least next to 195. This is going to be the bulk of it right here. But yeah, you got everything, Target, Walmart over there. It just the list goes on and on. A lot of big box and chain stores over here for the most part, which is for some people a little bit of a turn off, but other ones it's not. Like myself personally, I hate being 5, 10 minutes or more than 5 or 10 minutes away from everything. So that's like an ideal location for me personally. If you want to do a little bit different kind of shopping, let's say you want to just go to like the I know some outlets, you have two different options for you. If you want to go west into Jackson, somewhere like right around here-ish, that's all going to be off Route 195. You're going to have the Jackson Premium Outlets. They'll have about 60 to 70 premium outlet stores over there, ranging from Nike, Adidas to Calvin Klein, Brooks Brothers, and all that. And if you go to the eastern side, like up towards Tinton Falls, up here, you're also going to have another outlet store there, roughly the same stores. I think they have it's a little bit bigger in Tinton Falls, so probably maybe like 100 stores, but it's roughly the same thing. You'll find some jewelry stores, a little bit of a food court, and just a little bit different than shopping at like your typical like Target or Walmart, anything along those lines. And last but not least, when it comes to the restaurants, again, Route 9, that's going to be your spot. That Ramtown area, again, you're also going to want probably going to that brick area. That's going to be like your main drag over here along Route 70. But same thing with the restaurants as kind of the shopping in general with like Target and Walmart and them. You're going to run into like those chain restaurants. So you'll have like Longhorns over here, Texas Roadhouse. The IHOP just left. It actually went out to Freehold, which is the next town up. But just ones like those. You do have some other ones that in between where it's not going to be like that. I mean, you got Pliables over there, but I think they're getting more chainy too. Ivy League and Chapter House, they're actually going to be two different solid spots. I like the Chapter House. Has pretty decent food there. They run different specials. Usually always hang out there around what is it? St. Patrick's Day. They have nice corned beef sandwiches. You got Seasons Coal Fire Bistro. Christie's is an Italian restaurant a little farther up. There's the Chapter House. Christie's is going to be somewhere in this area on this left side over here, but Route 9 again, that's going to be your main drag for the restaurants. If you want a really good meal though, Freehold has a nice downtown area with the borough that's going to be over here. So if you want to travel a little farther north, you can sit out. You have outdoor eating throughout the summer, and it's a nice little place to be. And any place down the shore, guys, like realistically, you go from Belmar, Asbury Park, those are probably the top two eateries in our area, unless you want to go really far north up to like the Seabright destination up here. But realistically, anywhere down the shore, you could pretty much find pizza, like different Italian foods, good steak. There's a Rodizio steak place over in Belmar, which is kind of like a all you can eat steaks or all you can eat meats where they bring out on the skewers and they just kind of rotate through the different cuts. Pretty much anywhere within about a half an hour of Howell, you can find a delicious restaurant for whatever you're craving that night. But that's going to do it for the end of the video, guys. It's, like I said, it's a quick little map tour for Howell, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking to move, buy, or sell in the area, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is going to be down low in the comments and the description. You know, whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even you're out, it really doesn't matter to me, guys. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. I'll help work with you, maybe set you up with a lender, whatever the case is, or whatever you need. So with that being said, check out the 2 videos popping up here if you want to move to a different part of Central Jersey, and they might help you out a little bit too. Have a great day.